Homestead. Pater here with a quick video for you. It's springtime. It's time to start working out in the barn. It's time to start working out, in the coop and in the yard and in the garden and cleaning everything up. I have had several requests from you about multiple things that we have started adding to our homestead, things that we're doing holistically and naturally for ourselves, for our animals, and in how we treat our animals and also how we clean. So I decided, since it's a very busy time, and some of these things you might be interested in and some of them you may not, that I would do an overall video and let you pick and choose. Of course, I can answer any questions for you. I'm going to attach recipes and whatnot. So I'm going to jump right in. We have 3 or 4 things to talk about really quickly, so it's very exciting. If you've been reading my Facebook lately, you know that we have new ducklings on the farm. One of the ducklings I thought was potentially getting wryneck. If you know about poultry and waterfowl and whatnot, you know there's a potential that they could develop wryneck, W-R-Y. Some folks say it's neurological, some folks say it's genetic, some folks say it's a vitamin deficiency. Well, what we can do is try to treat that, okay? So that's the goal in mind here. When I noticed immediately that there's a potential for that with one of the ducklings, I started treating her with turmeric. I treat myself with turmeric. If you've watched my other videos talking about ginger and turmeric and my Egyptian tea, and you know also some of my recipes, I always add turmeric to a lot of my recipes for the health benefits. So I've made a turmeric tea for my poultry and waterfowl. And what I did, I'm just going to give you a breakdown of what I did. If you've never made a tea, basically I've got a small kettle of water boiling on my stovetop. I added a couple of tablespoons of turmeric, basically to get that going. To that, I wanted to add natural items that had a high vitamin E and a lot of healthy properties. So I'm going to give you a list. He wasn't saying a word until we started filming this video. I'm going to give you a list of some of the things that I added. You can add some of these things. You can research them and pick and choose what works best for you. So we added sage. I have some of my own sage from last year, so I picked some of that. I put in the water that started boiling with the turmeric. I added sage, my oregano, cayenne pepper, just a dash. I let that boil, okay? I let that boil, start letting that, get going for a few minutes, and then I turned it to a low, and I let that just simmer, a low simmer for about 30 minutes. At that point, I turned off the stove, and I let it start to cool, and at that point, I added about 2 or 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. You know that I'm big into my organic apple cider vinegar, whether it's this or I make it. And I also added, I don't have it out here, but I added molasses. I love molasses. It has a lot of great properties as well. So I have local molasses that I added. And I made, this is all I've got left. I made some of this, what I would call like a turmeric tea. I started adding this to the water immediately. The ducks loved it, actually. They really like it. They drink it heavily. And we have noticed in the past 2.5 days that not only has she potentially improved, but none of the others are having the issue, and also that it's not continuing. So what I want to say to you is anytime you start having issues, do your homework on natural remedies that you may have in your house, things that you treat yourself with. Research, herbs, things like that, I think have a lot of potential for helping your animals. So this is just a quick little deal on this. She's inside. We let them all swim today. We checked her. They've gotten fed, and she's doing very well. So we're not exactly sure. Obviously, it's not a continuing problem, but no one else is having the issue, and I think we're seeing some improvement. I really think this is going to work really well. So that's number 1. The next thing I want to talk about, if you've done any research, is kefir. A sweet gal gave me some kefir grains, and I am making my own homemade kefir just about every 24 hours now. And I have started adding that to my feed in the barn. I wasn't sure how they were going to respond to it. I was like, I don't know. They might like it, they might not. They like yogurt, so why wouldn't they? So I have started adding this. My goal is maybe 2 times a week to start out. And of course, I have so much poultry, doing 1 or 2 little trays of it, they're not going to get an overload to begin with because they have to share it around. But I started creating my own kefir. I make my own smoothies for myself. It's a wonderful product. It's a bacteria, but it's really great for your digestive tract, your gut. You can do your research on that. I've also also started giving it to my dogs. I know several people that talk about they give their LGDs kefir, natural and homegrown kefir, several times a week. And the benefits are remarkable. I just have to believe that this is going to be really good for them. So we have started that. So look into kefir, see how that can work for you, what type of kefir you'd like to, make at home for yourself. But don't be afraid to try it on maybe your dogs or maybe your poultry. So I just want to throw that out there. Not only that, I am a huge advocate, if you don't already know, of coconut oil. I have started adding a little bit of it to my dog feed just in the morning. Some folks do it twice a day. So a little bit of the coconut oil. I love it in my coffee. I use it for skincare. We use it for baking. We use it for almost everything. So I started adding it to Cochise, testing him on that and with the kefir to see how that rolls. And so far I'm really pleased. He likes it. So maybe you should try that out. Something for you to look into. Last but not least, I've done a video before about my natural cleaner, and this is the little squirt bottle I keep it in. This is my Halo, my angel cleaner, that I've used the actual clementine peels, and this is a cleaner. So when I'm cleaning my nesting boxes, which it's time to finally do, pull things out and wash them, this is what we're going to be using. But since the warm weather is kicked in, you might start seeing mites. If you've had trouble with mites in the past, I've been doing a little mixed research, and there's several different types of recipes, but I decided to try to not only make my own homemade cleaner for the barn, but I want a freshener. I call it a freshener, but really my goal is that hopefully it will help us prevent mites. So this is what I've done. Oh, they're chasing each other. So this is what I've done. I don't know if you use Dr. Bronner's. I love this Castile soap. There's all kinds of different ones you can get at your grocery store. Typically, it's in your organic section. I love the lavender. I love lavender. It's just my thing. And so what I've done is I've put a small amount into a large squirt bottle, filled it with water, not all the way to the top, and then I added about 3 or 4 drops of eucalyptus. I've been told that eucalyptus oil is very good to ward off mites. You may want to try this. I have done this twice now. This is my second fill up. You go through it pretty fast. And I don't spray this on the chickens or in the nesting boxes when they're present, okay? So when I'm cleaning the barn, when I've cleaned out a stall, when I've cleaned out a nesting box, I give an actual final finish of this. I have seen 0 mites since I've started doing this. I had a couple of mites I found when we started having a weather break, which is not unusual. And since I started doing this, and I am looking hard, I am not finding any. And that is a great sign. So look into that, explore it. Like I said, there's different types of the Castile soap. I like the lavender because I love that essential oil in there. You add water, predominantly water, and I added some eucalyptus oil. You may look into different variations of that. They're certainly out there. Some folks add an oil also to this base. I have not yet. So this is not only going to make your barn or your coop smell really good, okay, but it may also be a key preventative measure for something that's coming up that could be problematic for you. And last but not least, I just want to remind you, some folks continue to ask. I continually get questions about this, so I just scooped a little bit out. Diatomaceous Earth. You want to use the white food grade, okay? And I use PermaGuard. We've talked about this before in another video or two. I'm an advocate of this. And when I took Cochise back for his vet visit, he had 0 parasites that they could find. And she said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I add Diatomaceous Earth to his feed. I add Diatomaceous Earth, not a lot. We've talked about that before, to my animals' feed. I sprinkle it in my barn when I clean, just a little bit here and there, a couple of times a week. And so if you've not explored how wonderful this could be for you, I really advocate for that. And I mean, when you can come out to a barn that needs to have its really extended, thorough cleaning, and this is what our eggs look like for the most part. You might find a feather, that's expected. You might occasionally have a broken egg and have a yolk in there or whatever. But we do not have problems with our eggs being dirty unless they've fallen out onto the floor or something extreme like that. But just in our nesting boxes, this is straight out of the nesting boxes. So far today we've gotten 27. So this is a good day. So I hope all this helps you out. If you have questions, let us know. I know this is kind of a big skim over several different things that you could do or maybe want to look into, but that's the goal of it. Some of these things you might want to try or not try or change up or vary or whatever. So we appreciate you watching us here at Appalachia's Homestead. Subscribe to us here. Be sure to like us on Facebook, give us a shout out, and follow us on Instagram, and we have our blog and all kinds of cool stuff like that. And as always, we appreciate your support. You guys have just been great to us. So we hope this helps you out and gives you some great little tips for coming up for spring and summer to, just make your homestead an even better place. So we appreciate you, and we'll talk to you soon. Y'all take care.